Abhay, your short film Karma, starring Ranbir Kapoor and Sharat Saxena, which was also nominated at the Student Oscar, that's given by the Academy of Motion Picture Art and Sciences. The film is about the capital punishment in India. We, of course, recently saw the film on the YouTube channel of Bandra Film Festival. How come we all discovered the film 17 years later?
Well, there was no reason behind that, to be honest. This was a film I made as my final thesis film for college. So I got to film school during undergrad in New York, and this was my final film for that. So it was always made with that intention. It was never made for being distributed or shown theatrically or anything. It was just a student film. I still consider it just a student film, and so yeah. And then it was just a friend of mine who had something to do with the Bandra Film Festival said that she had seen the film back when it had first come out, and she said that it's such a nice film. Why don't we ever show it? And I said yeah, why not? I people have told me over the years, is it anywhere? I've never put it online or anything. So then I said, okay, why not? I honestly didn't even think I'd be sitting here in front of you and having this conversation. It was just something I did at the spur of the minute, and I agreed. And they said, yeah. I said, just play it, But yeah, I mean, in fact, with Ranbir the other day, and he was like, people have been messaging him also. So I mean, it's nice to at least get some love, even if it's 17 years later.
Ranbir Kapoor was a part of the film before he made his big screen debut with Savaria. While directing him, did you know my friend going to be the next superstar of Bollywood?
We studied for 3 years. He studied for 3 years before he left, and he came back and he was started working on Savaria and stuff. So I mean, I think knowing, and we've grown up together, I've always seen that passion in terms of making movies and wanting to do this thing. And of course, when I worked with him, I over the course of my school life also, I had done one or two smaller films with him, which were like in-class projects and stuff like that we always did. So I always knew there were. I mean, you always seen that that inbuilt actor in him. But I mean, one thing about him is he still he puts in the effort. Even back then, when it was a student film, we used to sit and we used to discuss the script, and so it was. I mean, for us, I think both of us at that time, it was as close to making a real film as possible. So I really think you could see it that back then. He has the genes for sure. But I think he also adds that up with a lot of hard work.
While directing him, were you able to gauge his talent? And did you get a thought in your head on that time that if I ever gonna make a feature film, he will be my lead?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I would love to do a film with Ranbir. We've spoken about it over the years. Nothing's panned out, but I mean, he's a terrific actor. Even back then, I said it was a hard role to play. There was a lot of emotions and stuff, and he even then kind of nailed it. I think he's the type of actor that makes a director look good because he's so good. So yeah, I mean, I would love to, as much as I said, I'd love to get the pat on my back, but I said he's terrific. We've often spoken. Unfortunately, nothing's worked out so far. But yeah, in the future, if there is something else, I said I will always go to him. I think I will go to him first for everything. He's just that good an actor. But fingers crossed, maybe we can.
Do you discuss scripts and stories with him?
Yes, often we do. We talk. I mean, we talk about what we're doing, and and what we're this thing, and it's always good to get his feedback. I said he's worked with so many people now, and so this thing. So for me, like even on Ittefaq also, I mean, he was very early on when I told him what I wanted to do and stuff, and he was always been a great support, to be honest, and in his own ways, I know he helps me.
The film, of course, shows the father-son relationship. Was that your way to express your love for your dad, Ravi Chopra?
To be honest, I mean, when I wrote it, I said I was a child back then. So, I mean, you could say maybe it was unconscious, it was my subconscious. But yeah, I think so somewhere. I think my relationship with my father was always special, and especially I think when I came back home and, even he was ill for the last 4 or 5 years before he passed, and I always got a special bond with him. So I think, I mean, it's a relationship I always hold very dearly. And I think somewhere, yeah, I think back then, even though maybe I said it was subconscious, I didn't realize it, but I think it kind of did stem from there. Yeah.
The other appealing part of the film was how you use the lights, those top angle shots, an amazing sound design. Was this your ticket to show the world that, that's a craft of Abhay Chopra.
No, I mean, it was never with that opinion. I mean, I always, I mean, I try to be as visually attractive in terms of my telling of a story. I always believe that that's just how I try to perceive films. So in terms of, so in terms of that film, in terms of the color tone, in terms of the shots, it was something that we kept thought of very carefully. And in fact, it was this, the DOP was this FTI DOP. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years back in a car accident. A guy called Shomak. He was very talented. He was from the FTI Institute. I just met him. He had also done a lot of student films. So I just met him, like that. And I mean, every shot, I mean, we didn't have a big budget, but whatever we could, it was sort of planned in such a way that, that we could utilize it the most, and for me, actually, I wanted to tell us, because it was, even though I made it for my school in New York, I wanted to tell a story, Indian story. So, I wanted to get that feel, that ruggedness, that grittiness of the jails, which they don't see. So it was very important, again, for me, I mean, that's how I feel every story should have a visual language to it. So, I mean, it was just from that point of view.
In the end credits of the film, when the assistant director's name came, we see Arjun Kapoor. Please tell us about this AD and this nickname.
His Fubu is his nickname that came from, actually. So when he was much younger, of course, we all know now Arjun is very overweight and he's lost a lot of weight. But he used to be overweight and used to wear these clothes made by this a designer called Fubu. So it was just something that all us friends started picking up on, and we just kept saying, start calling him. So till date, I still call him Fubu. On my phone, his name is still as Fubu. So that's something that just kind of picked up. And I mean, we were friends, and I said I was making a student film. He wanted to be a part of it. So he's like, can I come and assist? I said, yeah, sure. I think he had not yet. I don't think he had started assisting himself. Like I think after that he assisted Nikhil and Karan. So I don't remember if he had started. But as I said, we were kids also making it. So it's like, yeah, one more person comes, join the gang. Why not?
Coming back to direction, Abhay, generally after making a short, directors want to take a big leap and make a feature film. Why you took 13 years to debut as a director with your feature film, Ittefaq?
I think it was, I don't know, I think just circumstances, to be honest. I obviously wanted to make a film after I graduated. Actually, when I graduated, I came back, I assisted on Babel with my dad, and I was when we were doing Bhootnath Returns, was something that I was looking into in terms of even production. But in the middle, my father fell ill, to be honest, and we went through certain problems, financial problems and stuff like that. So all that, it was just kind of life came in the way, to be honest. So that's what I think took time. As I said, I've been always wanting to make a film, and but I said, I mean, better late than never. So I mean. It was just I think the circumstances of life at that point, made it harder maybe to do something sooner.
I recently watched both the Ittefaqs. The one made by your uncle Yash Chopra, that's 1969 film, from which you borrowed the idea for your debut feature Ittefaq. Why you chose to work on a story that has already been made?
To be honest, I mean, it was a film that I always loved, the original. It was just a fascinating story. At that time, to make a film like that, it was something that was so bold. And as I was watching it one of the times, and the core idea always something that really inspired me. The idea that you have two people who were stuck in a room together, and you don't know which one is the murderer, which one is not. And it was something that just appealed to me, and then I felt that I could kind of expand on the original. Again, it was never the idea to copy the original, but it was to kind of adapt the original with a kind of a new set of eyes. So I think it was just my love for that film that got me so excited about this idea that I kind of, that I just started writing. It was never intended that I'm going to make a remake. I was just watching the film and I just liked it. And this idea came and it just got me kind of inspired. So, I would say I'm kind of inspired by that film.
Looking back at the Ittefaq, what would you like to change given a choice?
That's a tough question. I don't know. I mean, I mean, I'm very proud of that film. I really enjoyed working on that film. I mean, I guess if I look at it, there are, I mean, as in every film, I mean, if I look at any film, I think any filmmaker will cringe at certain aspects of the film and say like, oh, wish I had more time to do this, or wish I had more time to edit, or wish I had more time to fix the music. So I think those things are always there. But overall, I'm proud of that film. I think I went out to make I ended up making what I intended to make. So. As I said, I think it'll always, and it's my first film, so it'll always be dear to my heart.
Not the ending.
See, I know people had this thing that, I mean, I guess there was this aspect of how did, how do you let him get away and stuff. For me, that always appealed to me. As I said, I mean, I don't know if I could have done it different, because for me, I mean, in the end, I guess you start off making a film for yourself. You can't gauge what the audience likes or doesn't like. That's not in our hands. I think you have to make with your own conviction. So I think when I made it with that conviction, that's what came to me. So, for me to say, yeah, in hindsight, certain things people don't like, but if I think if I keep gauging myself by other people, I'll never really be able to make stuff that, I've never been able to make stuff, period, because I think every filmmaker needs to have his own voice, his own conviction. In order to tell any story, and then of course, then it's up to powers beyond us of how people appreciate it. You just can do the best and make something that I think you feel that you've done the best.
What kind of cinema or genre interests you the most while growing up? Which filmmaker or film you admire the most? And do you remember the moment when you decided and tell your dad that I want to direct films?
I mean, growing up, I think, I was actually honestly being introduced a lot. Actually, Ranbir was the one who first introduced me to Hindi cinema and stuff like that. So I saw a lot of my granddad's and my dad's films much later in life also. But yes, when I did it, then of course films of Raj Kapoor, Bimal Roy, Mehboob Khan, those were all, Mughal-e-Azam is still, I think Mughal-e-Azam is still one of my favorite films of all time. And to I think be able to make a film like that, I think if you ask me, I think that kind of just inspired me as, I think first time you realize at least I realized what a director could do, to be able to tell a story like that. I think so. I mean, if you ask me, I mean, again, I don't know what was the moment that this thing did, but, it was, I think, just growing up in this world of cinema and world of, watching so much stuff, even watching films from Hollywood, like, I mean, Jurassic Park blew my mind when I was a child. To just see that. So I think those were the things when I started realizing what a director can be, and of course, then as I grew older, I tried to study more about it, including my granddad and my father's films, but I think it was just that, it was just an awe of, what it takes to tell a story, is what appealed to me initially. And the man behind the telling the story, so I mean, it was always that, how does one man look at a film and have this vision, what always just was kind of just inspired me as a child.
Abhay, is there a film by a current generation, by any current generation filmmaker that you saw recently and left you with the thought, wow, I wish I would have made that film?
So I mean, not recent, but one director that has come to mind that I always loved her work is Zoya Akhtar. I loved Gully Boy. I mean, it just blew me away when I saw that film. The way she, of course, Ranbir was fantastic in the performance, but just the way she brought that world of music and and hip hop and into an Indian setting. It's something that I didn't know existed. To be honest, and how she brought that and she managed to tell that story. I mean, it was blew me away. Even I love Zindagi. Zindagi is another film that, if it's coming on TV, you can start watching from anywhere, and you'll still enjoy it as much. So I love her. I think she has such a unique voice. I think she's just immensely talented. If one comes to mind right away, I think Zoya would be there.
Your grandfather, along with your dad, made the epic Mahabharata. Do you have memories of visiting sets while growing up?
So I was very small when that happened. But I think a few things that I do remember. I remember Jaipur when they shot the war sequence. For me, that was fascinating. The horses, the bows. I still remember the bows. I used to be fascinated with the bows and that gadha, and of course the elephants. One of the first times I saw, when the Bhishm's bed of arrows, that was something that kind of fascinated me. Like I didn't like it kind of blew my mind at that age that, oh, so that's the trick, that the arrow's on top of him and there's a bed and then he's lying down on the bed. So those things, I said again, those things kind of did interest me. In terms of the cast, I mean, again, I don't remember. I do believe I was offered the role of Devi Abhimanyu, but my Hindi is horrible, so I had to pass. But I think it was only, I don't know if it was offered as a joke or seriously, which I don't know. That I'll have to, hopefully my mom and my dad could have answered that question.
How do you see Bollywood when you were growing up and now?
Oh, I think I think we've changed a lot. I think Bollywood in terms of, you know, just films, Bollywood films.
Before the entry of these corporates and reaching out a star
You know,
must be.
yeah, but I mean, again, you know, I'm grateful that I can, I guess because I come from this backdrop. So I think for me, a lot of times still, you know, when I do talk to actors or this thing, there is a sense of familiarity because I know them. I've either grown up with them or, you know, or their family friends or whatever. So I mean, I'm grateful to being in that position, in that sense that, you know, that there is that still, which I think was there in the olden days of Bollywood, also a very family kind of environment, you know. I said I've personally just been lucky that you know, I still feel that, you know. Yes, of course, there is definitely much more professionalism and all, and I think that's good. And to a certain extent, but I just said I'm just grateful that, you know, I'm grown up with this thing where, you know, I know these people, I can pick up a phone and call them if I need something, or, you know, and they are grateful enough to, you know, to reciprocate.
Is there a part of you which feels slightly insecure, like, you know, not insecure, maybe like just seeing how the entertainment landscape is changing? Now anybody with a mobile phone can make a film.
No, I mean, I don't think it's an insecurity. I think if anything, it should be an inspiration. I think, you know, I mean, see, the world is going to tell stories. People are going to tell stories. You're going to find new ways, you know. I think you just have to tell your own stories, you know, and come from where you come. See, I mean, I always believe that, you know, only thing you can bring to a story is your own point of view. You know, that nobody can take from me. So as long as I'm able to have that point of view, as long as I'm able to tell a story that I believe in, you know, I will root for the other person also to tell a story. I will watch this thing. I will hopefully learn from what they're telling me, you know. But I mean, I said it's only to be inspired. You know, if today you watch something, if someone has made something out of a phone and it's great, I mean, that's amazing. We didn't have the tools growing up. So I mean, if they have it today, you know, I mean, even when I was in school, our first year camera was a Bolex camera, which had a 30-second rewind. You could only take 30-second shots. It was not sync. It was silent. So, you know, and today you have iPhones that can, you know, shoot 4K. So, I mean, it's great. I think it's just great for, you know, cinema as a whole.
What are you working on right now? And when will we see Abhay Chopra's next directorial?
So I was working on a film which I was supposed to start pre-pandemic, but then this COVID happened. So the last 2 years, it's a little bit of a large-scale film. So I'm in the middle. I worked on another thing. So I'm hopefully going to start. I would like to start a film by the end of the year. It's a little more smaller, contained film, and then eventually maybe do my bigger film after that. So yeah.
Will you only be working with big stars, or are you open to work with newcomers who don't have film background?
No, as I said, I'm open to. I think in the end, I'm open to good actors. As I said, it's not about having a big star or like this thing. Of course, I think every film depends, but you know, I think in the end, it has to be talent. It has to be, you know, and that's again a great thing that's happened over the last few years. You know, you suddenly have this burst of talent in terms of actors. You know, you see it on your OTTs, you see it on, you know, smaller films, and it's amazing. You know, so you know, as a filmmaker, you want to work with people who you know, are hungry for work and people who are good. I think eventually that's this thing, right? Who eventually suit the role. It doesn't matter if they're a big star or they're nobody, as long as, you know, they are right for the role at that point, and they are, you know, they put in the effort and you know, I said there are a lot of talented people right now, and I think it's a great time, and we're finally getting to see it. I'm sure there must have always been, but I think now we're just finally getting. I think there's so many more avenues that, you know, I think again it speaks back to what you said about, because there's so many different more ways to make films and make cinema, that you're suddenly seeing this burst of, talented actors and actresses and, DPs and stuff like that. So it's actually great.
You have grown up in a household where film star used to walk in and used to visit your granddad and dad frequently. What is the fondest memory of childhood?
Fondest, I mean, I'm trying to think of, I mean, I think it's always, I think the thing about it is that, as I said, be it, Amit uncle or, Chintu uncle, there was always so much warmth they always showed us. Like, I believe in Amit uncle when we, when we came from Bhutnath Returns, when we went to ask him that, will you do this? I mean, at that time, my father was unwell, he had worked with the father, but at no point did he ever, I mean, the warmth which he always showed us, and he kind of stood by us is something I think that just goes back to, again, growing up, with him. He's always there. He was always Amit uncle first, He was, I mean, I know to the world he's Amitabh Bachchan, but to me, he's always there, and even till date, to be honest, on Dad's birthday, he always sends a message. Just wishing him. So I think those are those few things that, that you realize those are relationships, I mean, which I've inherited thanks to my grandfather and my dad. But, those are things just make you feel, make you feel warm and special.
Your brother Juno has shown how good he is as a producer. Your banner BR Film is completing 70 years this year in September. Are there plans to celebrate 70 years of BR Films?
Not, I mean, to be honest, with me and Juno, you see, yes, we have that lineage, but we're just starting off. I think that's how we look at it. This is it was a fresh start for us. Again, of course, we've inherited that goodwill, we've inherited all that legacy, and that's something that we hold very dearly to us. And I think for us, it's just to be able to, keep that name alive. I mean, when I walk up to the office, the staircases, there are all our old photos of all the old movies, and I think the belief we go by is that whatever we add onto that, this thing has to live up to the name that's before that. So I think that's what we work with. That's the belief we work with. That we have a legacy to live up to. But I said we're new. We're starting off new, and we've got 3-4 films now behind our belt, and I hope we can just grow from here and make them proud.
Abhay Chopra, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun.